Hello and welcome to this video and audio guide to the King's Access Technology Solo USB personal audio player. In this guide we're going to show you the layout and the functions of a Solo, how to use it, how to pair with Bluetooth headphones and charging. We hope you enjoy the video. If you have any questions or comments, please add them to the comments section below or contact us in the usual ways at www.kingsaccesstechnology.com. The layout and controls of the Solo. So I'm going to start on the side without the volume control, which is the side that curves out, and what we have is a small oblong LED, which is bright yellow, that's the charging LED. Then we have the USB-C charging port. Moving up to the top edge of a device, we have a small double hole for a lanyard. Then we have the 3.5mm headphone socket, which is a raised circular socket. Next to it is a status LED, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. Then we have the USB-A input socket. This is for putting your memory stick in, which contains your content and music. It also has a raised oblong surround. Then if we move down the side of the player, we'll find the on-off volume control, which is a ridged wheel. And if you pull it down, it clicks with a mechanical click to give you feedback that it's on and off, and then roll it further down to adjust the volume of the device. Finally, on the side, we have a sliding switch that slides down to the bottom with a click again. When you slide it down to the bottom position, this locks out the control buttons on the front of the player. This is to allow you to use it in your pocket without pressing buttons accidentally. Let's talk about the operation of the player. The first thing to do, obviously, is to put some content on it, which is a USB stick. Here I'm going to insert a low-profile USB memory drive, nice and small one. You can use any type you want. The audio files on here should be formatted as MP3 or .wav. If you put them in folders, that will allow you then to navigate using the select reset button between folders. So if you've got multiple books or albums or a mix of both, you will be able to move between them, which is what I have on this stick here. Next thing to do is plug in some headphones. And if we're talking about some wired headphones, I've got a pair here, just a basic pair of Sony wired headphones. Plug the headphones in the 3.5mm socket on the top. Then we can switch the device on. This is the simplest way. You'll see, I don't know if you can see on the video here, the LEDs on the front here. This is a battery status LEDs. They represent the battery charge level, and you may be picking that up. If I bring it to the microphone, we've got a bit of police playing coming out of the headphones. I'll just turn that down a little bit. We see on the top the status LED is flashing red. That means playback is taking place and some kind of device is connected, either a wired headphone or a Bluetooth headphone. If we press the play pause button, play pause stops and we have a solid red. So the device is still connected to some kind of headphones or output, but is currently not playing back. The volume control wheel naturally changes the volume, as we would expect. Please be aware that we've set up the Solo to play quite loud on the analog output. The digital output, the Bluetooth, we can't actually control the volume. That's dictated by the Bluetooth headphones, the ultimate volume. But on the analog headphone output, we've given it quite a high output. This is to allow for people who are hard of hearing and also to allow for a wider range of headphones to be used. But if you're using a very small pair of headphones or earbuds or low impedance, please be careful, because high volume can damage your ears. I'm just going to talk about the battery level. As I said, when you switch it on, you get an indication on the LEDs, they scroll up. There's 10 LEDs and they represent 100% battery charge. If we see 7 or 8 LEDs, then that would be 70 or 80%. Of course, this is only an approximate indication of battery level, but it's a good one and it'll help you understand how much charge you have left. The other function we have is we can check the battery level at any time by pressing and holding the play pause button for 3 seconds, and we'll get an audible announcement telling us the charge level, in this case 80%, and 8 LEDs light up and come down again. I'm going to bring the headphones by the microphone and do that again, and you should get a good idea.
Charge level 70%.
There we go, 7 LEDs and 70%. So that is how the charge level indicator works. It's worth showing you the rest of the playback functions, and then we'll look at Bluetooth connection. We hit play again, play is resumed on the headphones. I shall put the headphones next to the mic so you can hear a bit more of what's going on. We can change tracks, track forward and track back. So that's our next track, we go to a bit of Sheryl Crow. If we press track back, it will go to the beginning of a track before, not commonly the beginning of a track you're listening to, as we think that makes more sense. We can fast forward through the track, or we can fast rewind through the track. The next function we have is to change folders on the disc. So if we press the round select button, we now move to a talking news. If we press it again, we move into a different folder, which is a talking book. And if we press it again, we go back to our music folder, which was the first folder on this memory stick, which we formatted. And these are your basic navigation functions for moving around the player. When you're finished, you just roll the key and switch it to the volume control on the side and switch your player off with a click, and it's off. As with all of our USB players, we have bookmarking facility on the USB stick. This means it will resume playing back wherever you left it off last time. Even if you take the stick out, and even if you have multiple sticks, each one will return to the position it was last played. So if we switch the player back on by rolling down the volume on and off wheel, we get the battery indicators on the top but not the audible announcement, and playback will start. Back on Lord, just where we left it off. The next thing I want to talk about is Bluetooth connection. On the Solo, we have added a Bluetooth transmitter, which is a very, very useful function for this type of device that allows you to use wireless headphones. We've designed our Bluetooth setup to be as quick and painless as possible and provide maximum compatibility. Now, all Bluetooth devices are different, but most work in a similar way. If you are having problems connecting your Bluetooth device, please check with your, if it's say headphones, a headphone manufacturer's instruction guidelines. But I'll run through the most common type of pairing and talk to you a little bit about how the Solo works in Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is automatically enabled whenever there is not wired headphones connected and you switch a device on. So if we switch a device on now, there is no wired connection. It will start searching for a Bluetooth connection after the initial startup, where it starts everything up, checks the battery level, and we see a slow blue flashing light. This means it is looking for its previous Bluetooth connection, and we'll come back to this in a minute. So it's worth talking about connecting to Bluetooth for the first time, and the same applies for speakers or headphones, but I'm going to talk about headphones specifically today. There's a few basic rules that will make it far more reliable and likely to succeed with Bluetooth connections. First, make sure the device you're connecting to is within 1 meter of the Solo. Make sure they're both fully charged or pretty much fully charged. Have the operating instructions for your headphones, whatever you're connecting to, on hand, and ideally switch off any other local devices. The best order of play we have found for the most reliable way to connect is to switch on the thing you're connecting to first, so in this case the headphones, and switch into pairing mode. Most headphones go into pairing mode by pressing and holding the power button, and initially they'll power up. You can't probably see it on here. We've got a blue light and then a red light, and we keep it hold down, and we've now got a flashing red and blue LED. This is common on most headphones. If we now switch on the Solo, and after it's started up, we press the two triangular buttons, the forward and back buttons together. We get 3 short vibrations and a fast flashing LED, and this means it is now looking for a pairing. We now had a long vibration, which means it's found its pairing, and the headphones are now connected. We can hear them there if I bring them to the microphone. So that is how easy it is to connect the Solo to a pair of Bluetooth headphones. The vibration has 2 statuses to the Bluetooth, which is a long vibration for a successful connection and 3 short vibrations if it's searching. Now, once you've previously paired a device, it should be a bit easier if they've both been powered off. Again, there are some interesting scenarios with Bluetooth that it will do things called back channel searching if it loses its paired partner. But generally speaking, as long as both devices have been powered off and you power them on in order, it will normally reconnect each time. So let's give that a go. So I'm going to switch off the headphones by holding down the power button. And we get 3 short vibrates from the Solo saying, I've lost my connection. And in this instance, it's now looking to get that previous connection back with a slow flash. And if it can't find it, normally after 15 to 30 seconds, it will then turn to a fast flash to look for a new connection. But in this instance, we're just going to switch it off. So the Solo is now off and the headphones are now off. Our recommendation is you power the headphones first and the Solo second. And this seems to be the most successful way around. So we'll switch on the headphones as normal. We've got a blue light on the headphones. We'll switch on the Solo, and the Solo will now look for this pair of headphones. Now, depending on the design of the other Bluetooth device, sometimes this reconnection is really quick. Sometimes it can take up to 30 seconds. Again, the Solo will tell you with its vibration when it has successfully connected. Sometimes the headphones will also inform you. So we're running now at about 12 seconds. There's a long vibrate. The LED status light has changed to red. And we have playback through the headphones. It's worth remembering a couple of things about Bluetooth. Normally, as I said, you can have fallovers where it can drop out of Bluetooth. We found the range on this to be 5 to 10 meters, which is more than you're ever likely to use with Bluetooth. Important thing to remember is you cannot use wired headphones and wireless headphones at the same time. A common mistake when people are troubleshooting. So now we know how to use the Solo, let's talk a little bit about the charger and the charging. So as with all King's products, we include with the Solo our bespoke USB-C charger. This charger, we believe, is the first charger actually designed for ease of use and certainly for anyone with any kind of impairment. Mechanically, we have made it with a 3D tactile logo on the top, so you can both grip it when you're plugging it in and out, and you can recognize the charger. We've included a nice high quality braided cable, which is captive. It's intentional that we don't allow it to plug in and out, and that way you can't accidentally unplug it and not know whether it's been plugged in or not. And we've given it a reasonably strong grommet. I'm not saying it's indestructible, but it should alleviate many accidental breakages. The type of charger is USB-C. We've chosen this connector as it is reversible and it's a universal type of connector, which means you can't plug in the wrong USB-C connector, and you can use any USB-C charger on the Solo. It's a universal standard. And again, as with all of our players and equipment, we've designed it with a high contrast look, so it's easy to identify, especially if you've got slight visual impairment. You should be able to still recognize our devices. I know it's going to sound silly, but to insert a USB-C cable, align it first, and then you push it in, and there's a little resistance and a click, and that's in. It shouldn't require any more force than that. You can damage these connectors if you use it the wrong way, so please be a little bit careful with it, but saying that, used correctly, it will give you a lifetime, well, years of use. When you connect the charger and plug it in, you will see a little light will come on the side, and that tells you you're charging. Of course, you can check the charge level at any time whilst you're charging by using the LEDs and the audio announcement if you've got headphones connected. It will also tell you the device is charging. As with all lithium type devices, the charge light goes out when it's fully charged. However, the LEDs may show you 90 or 100% and the charge light will still be on. What this means is the last couple of percent of charging have to be at much lower power than the rest of the charging to make sure we don't overcharge a lithium battery. So from a real world point of view, once you've got 10 LEDs and the device says 100%, you can certainly leave it on charge until the light goes out, but at best you'll only be recovering an extra 1 or 2% of charge. Some basic housekeeping: we recommend that you charge it for 6 to 8 hours for the first time. After that, the charge time is 1 to 2 hours, depending on various conditions. Playback, you will get on Bluetooth 3.5 to 4.5 hours playback on a charge, and on wired headphones 5 to 8.5 hours. There are many variables that will affect this, such as volume level, number of times you use a control, impedance of the headphones. Even the current draw of memory sticks varies stick to stick, so there are a few things that affect the battery life. You can operate the device while it's on the power supply charger, in which case it will play indefinitely. You should be aware though that if you do run it while you're using it on the charger, it may reduce ultimately the internal battery life. We hope you've enjoyed this guide. Again, as we said at the beginning, please leave any comments you have in the section below, or contact us at www.kingsaccesstechnology.com for further information, purchases and support. Thank you.